Actually, say Vybz Kartel at the request aba say opese December or ye concert e Ghana ha na opese yusu Accra Sports Stadium pacho mwanya lete bisa e de free omo.
Oh, we say NSA yeah, and in particular Accra Sports Stadium being requests maybe for various activities and programs, and what I can say is for international programs, concerts, conferences, even football matches, we've had quite a number of them. At this stage, no, I wouldn't want to stick out my neck and mention any, names. When we say there's a lot of social media activity out there. If it happens that Vybz Kartel, something is in the pipeline, I'm sure it's something we cannot keep secret. Apart from them, you very respect all the other applications and our requests for the usage of the Accra Sports Stadium until such a time you confirm it. Then obviously we would let the general public and of course Ghanaians know.
Medase Director General medase wakano na afen so wa ne suggestion ba ko say as a request ne ba mamu nhwe kura munyintum animu ya because ubetimi generate close to 400,000 Ghana cedi just for the venue for Vybz Kartel. How do you respond to this, sir?
Una me quote so 400,000 Ghana cedis. Well, it's a good amount of money, but the fact is, NSA consider when we give our venue out to any interested party, and based on that request and the number of additional facility outlets that he be using at the stadium, it will direct us to give a good fee, for the stadium to be used. I'll keep it in mind. I'll bear it in mind.
Okay, so when put the name there, me bomi tirimu na aka bibi. Se muhwe na ye mo a monje mo na aja NSA no enso enye sika na monso mo de aye mo niema a se mo de ye. De all kan nyina ne se request no de enye se mo di na ne request no kra. Ma obi am pressure na enfe ndi na ensa request no.
Sorry.
Me say de na all kan se sika ne de ebi kura betimi aye mo, but de no all kan se sa request no ma obi am pressure NSA no. Ma pressures be and free quarters be ma na enu ntimu deny sa request na omo de aba no.
No credit he support. I know there I will be, I will not be truthful if I say that NSA cash strapped, but we need to also protect facility, especially the pitch. Into any decision be taken, it has to be factored fair. Pitch, we should try and protect it as much as possible. Consultations and that also, because it is not one person or a few people. There are so many factors that NSA consider, whether a Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and our Vybz Kartel. NSA consider all these factors before we take decisions. The same way, Stoneboy or Shatawale, we give them that consideration. After that, consultations and behind the scenes work, it's me my final decision and also a fee for the venue.
Yeah, that's it, because President Cap, back Accra Sports Stadium, the security arrangement, how coordinated that. Na hu se nsesan aba ho na we de entia ye frɛ anopa kura no the meeting between only the interim leadership of Ghana Boxing Authority enura how crucial na sa meeting na mo ye enura no na eye.
Thank you, Minja. As you know, unfortunate death of Inuya from Nigeria some months ago led to ministerial committee investigating
98.9.
The what led to the death and other, but not any isolated only to that night. Involving Ghana boxing ecosystem, and after that, recommendations were made by the committee led by Ambassador His Excellency Amakai Amatifio, and based on those recommendations, National Sports Authority, my mandate said, let's form a team, a task force, and as a committee to spearhead our recommendations. I think the boxing fraternity, there have been a lot of issues in fighting, disputes, and external influences, and they were not happy about some of the issues that you raised here. But we've met and we've decided to go on a path that the boxing, boxing in Ghana. It was not an easy, discussion meeting, but in the end, after basically 2 hours, we came to a compromise here. We will definitely go ahead and find a way forward to implement these recommendations. We need to understand the NSA am I to me to regulate sports activities and yet just boxing. We are still sitting to plan the re-regularization, registration, any licensing of federations, associations, clubs, sporting edifices, gymnasiums, swimming pools, the new LI 2477 2023 and my mandate, which is far more than ever before. But we need to take our time, education, stakeholders, just to let everybody know this is what we're about to do, so that there will be uniformity in understanding what we're doing. We are that leverage and freedom and respect. So going forward, this is what we're going to do as the National Sports Authority. And the boxing family understands this, and they've agreed to cooperate. So in the coming days, you'll be hearing more about the implementation. Obviously, the committee and as a task force, we'll put a task force together to ensure that we collaborate, and as a boxing fraternity, to collaborating with NSA to help implement these recommendations. And in the end, after back and forth, Omo agreed, said this is the way forward.
Okay, so it means after a meeting, the earlier letter a free office suspending impending a year elective congress, Sabre the way suspension every ho ama processes ebetimi atoa so ana.
Not entirely. Also, the Ghana Boxing Authority is also operating with a constitution. Now, the vacuum that would have been created on a mandate expire in the next few days. It is a concession and yet a final position either by the NSA or a concession by the Ghana Boxing Authority. A common sense, mutual respect, and the practicality of where we find ourselves. As long as we are not breaking any laws, regulations, or rules, it is within this permit to work on this roadmap. We will agree to implement these recommendations in the manner that the NSA deems fit. It's a compromise to reach that agreement rather than have chaos, confusion, and anything that would actually, not make it possible for the NSA to work within its remit.
Okay, so we've seen a quote by one kasa na post here on social media, and I would want to read sa quote na mebusa audientia. You needed to put this point across to Omo Ebeshia Wenrano, and I quote or say, when I met the GBA and other key Ghana boxing stakeholders, I told them without flinching that we are not taking away their baby, that's in code, boxing, but we just want to clean the entire ecosystem of boxing by implementing the recommendations of the Ministerial Air Committee. Adentina na esa wo kasa asemwe echiro
would be a very important question. Communication is very, very important. Now, I think, sir, lack of communication between any two parties may bring mistrust, uncertainty, and maybe a misunderstanding. But behind the scenes, leading up to your meeting with Ghana Boxing Authority, there are other stakeholders, including four Akasa, former world champions, former GBA presidents, legal practitioners, medical people, financial people, just to see the scope of work I say. Now, after that, we had to communicate back to the boxing stakeholders. Apart from the stakeholders, the remnants of the board of the Ghana Boxing Authority, almost they were there. This is the first time they are all coming together in one sitting with the NSA. We've not had this before. It was an opportunity to ask questions, to put issues out, and along the way, a lot of misinformation, a lot of negative information that the boxing stakeholders brought to the table. It was important to make clear, sir, NSA, ministry, and any other body is not interested in taking over boxing. We are interested in cleaning boxing for all of us, for all of Ghana. It's NSA be a personal interest. It be a G boxing. We are going to favor one faction, and these were the issues. They were very concerned, and they felt they had been disrespected in some ways by authority, either NSA and as a ministry. So we had to clear the way, and it was a committee that was necessary and a committee that has done its work that we're very happy with, and we need to move forward. They were not entirely happy with some of the findings because more of them should have been consulted. And going forward, we will ensure we include all the stakeholders in the discussions so that they don't get suspicious or feel there's some agenda behind what we're doing, but it is for the good of the sport of boxing. And see, after that, it's important to put it out to the general public and those who are not present at the meeting. We are going forward. We've agreed to work together and to respect all parties, managers, promoters, retired boxers, matchmakers, media, all the parties involved, so that together we can find solutions to the challenges, beneath boxing at the moment.
Okay. Now, how do you respond to almost say the entire report? Our ministerial committee was really about the former GBA president Ora Abraham. Now, what is there to implement again?
Another very good question. It was not about former President of GBA, Ibrahim Kote Bikwe. It was not only about the death of the Nigerian boxer. It was not only about either perceived, alleged, or proven corruption. It was not only about malfeasance and all those things. So it was broad. It's, regardless of who is at the helm of the GBA, we still need to do a cleanup. And that is why I say we have these hard discussions. Question now will be a similar question. The problem of the GBA, quote unquote, is no longer there, so they can continue as normal. And yes, it was not a committee set up to go against any individual, but we also must understand, say, he may have been one of the problems and challenges of the GBA, not the only problem and challenge. We still need to make sure, say, the constitution is looked at properly, and to make sure, say, they are involved in the remapping of the boxing constituency and our constitution. It is very, very important. Apart from that, we need to find those who previously, now they get closer to boxing for any other reasons, and some are back on board. And those who have been found culpable, we also need to deal with them so that they need to get their acts right before they can come back. And I say, we find ways to protect the boxing ecosystem from such malpractices, illegalities, and corruption, as stated in the committee's reports.
Okay, and already I'm performing a big job because my say meeting be mukra na opi na oni edi nkomo ntimi jawo na wako na obi the text message about say Accra Sports Stadium scoreboard na se no da be na mo besiesie wie na motimi aton a hot ticket because against Chad yija ho e wo musa nkrofo bu betena ho President Cab there security no tight enti obi antimi ankotena ho da be na Mube bie ho no mube ye ho adwuma na wie no mabie so da nkrofo nso betimi atena ho ahwe games.
Me pacho, due to structural integrity, experts, engineers, or my advisors say, my populated that part of the stadium. Na NSA task force, any states and other experts within the NSA. A comprehensive report. I'm Honorable Kofi Adams and also our Chief of Staff, Jubilee House, to explain the extent of challenges or into any moment from now. I'm sure, sir, the right action will be taken, and we should be able to get that portion, and indeed all the other aspects of the stadium that needs careful look at will be addressed. I can assure you, sir, reports on the echo, and we've done a thorough work, not just across Sports Stadium, but Botiman. In Koko, there were issues there, Kofridria, Amali, AC Pong, Takwa, National Hockey Pitch. I can list them. So far, it's me at least 9 or 8 venues. So we've gone and we've done assessment, and we've submitted the reports to the minister so that action will be taken into. Once that is done, I'm sure we'll all be very happy at the end.
Now, careful for Akadea Omobeba inspection because we are almost 2 months away. Now you have a World Cup qualifier against Mali. Careful for Ndaben or mobile inspection. No?
The patrol up to now, we've not had an official communication from CAF. But possible say the CAF are communicated to the Ghana Football Association, and they in turn would let us know when that date. But as Ayaka said there, there's been no communication from CAF to that effect.
Medase we there me jao no akona we there me pese wo ye personal ade bi ma me bem pese me kan won framam federation na entokwa ene ade wo mu obehu na two fashions we gina ha na ye kasai table tennis, two fashions, your Kumasi executives, and your war and crandia. Even rugby na senya na omo to aba. Ehon so ensem wo ho. Me pacho personally, then na obeya this federation and to kwanti federation no omuntimi enye development so omuhia no. Personally, then na obeya to curb some of these things.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, we need to talk to them. So we're communicating now. We try to resolve these matters out of court. There are a lot of issues in some federations, but there are also a lot of positives. They rely on the lessons of, positive administration and administrating the works of these federations. Now, once we sit down, there can be disagreements, misunderstandings, but at the end of the day, rules, regulations, the law would be applied, and where necessary, NSA would, step in firmly without fear or favor, and where possible, we may resolve these matters out of court. I mean, for me, I would hope that we can resolve all these legal issues and infighting out of court, because I think for us, that is not the way forward. We can always find a compromise once we sit around the table to have discussions.
Medase, I don't envy you, cry. I don't want to be in your shoes. Ora, Yampofuankra. Medawase, aha, any edu besi. Medawase, aha, any edu besi na dafo frono so yenyawa na afi ensem de bebre wo ho nti dafo frono yenyawa na say da na bia ebebo mpae na oni meeting bia na yetimi abusaw ensem no bebre ni abusaw na wa studio na afi aka emenkrofo ame wa ho bia pesi mebusaw bibi ba emra no so eni ho enti mam yemfa owura Yampofuankra ensi